is going to be managed. This is the MON plan, the current plan revision was completed in 2006. It was the second plan that I was heavily involved with in my career. I'm involved with the plan on the GW George Washington National Forest right now that's expected out at any time, and was involved with the Jefferson plan just a few years ago. So I've been involved with the forest plan revision process on 3 different forests since the 2006 plan revision on the MON. But just to give you an idea on the background, basically the plan revision is a collaborative process where the Forest Service sets up public meetings all over the different zones and the different communities, public meetings after hours when people aren't working. They bring all of their information specialists, all of their biologists, their archaeology people, their air people, their water people, their wildlife, recreation. All these people are available to the public to ask questions, and also to look at the different management options. And these different options are called prescriptions. 6.1, 6.2, backcountry recreation, or roadless areas, spruce regeneration areas, 4.1. So there's a lot of different numbers that are used to give specific prescriptions to different parts of the forest. And basically through this process, it brings everybody to the table. Whether you're a bear hunter, a turkey hunter, a mountain biker, a horseback rider, a hiker, a wilderness advocate, it doesn't matter what your interest is. Everybody has the opportunity to come in. Actually, I think we had a meeting here in 2006 in this very room. And you could go to the different stations and you could solicit information from the Forest Service. And you could give input. It was taken on the flip chart. Every comment was recorded. And it was considered and looked at by the forest plan revision group that was doing the draft plan. Now, what this did, it involves everybody. And through the series of public meetings, there were 15,000 comments were solicited for the MON revision in 2006. 15,000. And once those were received, the information was used to formulate management alternatives. So the Forest Service just didn't come out and say, this is what we're proposing. They come out with alternative A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. I know it was at least through F. I can't remember how many there were. But there were different, lots of wilderness, no wilderness, lots of wildlife management, no wildlife management, backcountry recreation, just a lot of different prescription alternatives. And then there was a second comment period to where the public, the mountain bikers, the hikers, the bear hunters, the turkey hunters, whatever your interest is, you had an opportunity to come to the table as a stakeholder and give input on how you wanted to see the forest managed. Well, after that second comment period, and those alternatives were then considered based on those comments by the Forest Service, and they come out with the preferred alternatives, with what they were going to submit to Congress, our elected congressional delegation, for approval on how the Monongahela was going to be managed for 10 to 15 years. Now, once it went to our congressional delegation, there was a third opportunity to start writing Rahal or Rockefeller at the time and solicit or give comments to them on what you want to see happen or how you want to see the forest managed. So that was a third opportunity to comment for all stakeholders. It was equal for all people to come to the table and have input on how we manage the forest. And then they come up with the forest plan once it's passed by Congress. And you have the different prescription areas all through the forest. So that's kind of how the process worked. Of the 15,000 comments, go ahead, sir. Yes, sir.
Do some stakeholders carry more weight than others?
Some stakeholders are much better funded. Like, let me tell you, one of the biggest by far, hunters, if you add all stakeholders together, they don't equal hunters. But if you look for the very worst letter writers, the very worst people to pick up a telephone, it's hunters. They're the least vocal, but the most prolific.
What I run into with meetings with Clyde Thompson, it seems that the Sierra Club and the Wilderness Coalition carries a lot more weight than anybody else.
You have a lot of retired people with a lot of extra time. Yeah. They're well funded, they're well educated, they're well organized, and they're beating on doors every day. Yeah. I mean, and that's just how it is. Hunters don't do that. Most fishermen don't do that. You know, some mountain bikers do. Horseback riders don't do that. So absolutely, some groups, I won't say that they have more pull, but it's black and white. If they're hearing from constituents and they hear from this many wilderness advocates that they want this national monument, well, they think that that's just the way it is. Even though there's a silent, possibly majority, that doesn't want to see this happen. And that's what's got to change. That's why we're having these meetings. Because if you don't get the word out, it's going to happen. And it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. It really is. But now, let me go on a little bit through this. Out of those 15